Hi, this is Erin Miller, and this is my final presentation for MDS 300. My overarching goal is to be an advocate and teach within the realm of developmental disabilities. So when I last came to school, it was 2010. This is my first semester back. There's a little bit of gap there. And previously I was a communication major. So when I found this program and decided it would be the best fit for me, I initially was very afraid that I wouldn't be able to make all of my education work for me, that it had been lost, it was all gone. And I realized that that was not the case, so that was a really awesome revelation. And so in putting together the documents that are required for the course, the individualized degree plan and the reflection paper, that was a refreshing experience because I had the opportunity to not only revisit my past and what I learned and remembering the tidbits of information that were and are still incredibly helpful, but also it was an awesome opportunity for me to gain that self-confidence in overcoming something that I thought was not going to happen. I didn't know that I'd be able to come back to school. I thought kind of, oh, it's done. I don't need a degree. I don't need a piece of paper. And I put so much work previously into my academic life, and it was difficult for me to say that. And when I had to stop going to school in 2010, it was devastating for me as I had a whole path plotted. And then life happened and threw a curveball, and here I am years later, but now I know it's for the right reason, and I know that because of how passionate I am about working and being an advocate for those with developmental disabilities. So in going back, synthesizing what I learned before, how I can apply that now, I was able to gain confidence in not only remembering that I could do it, but knowing that I could do it and seeing the traction that was happening through the process of creating the individualized degree plan. I was able to put together SMART goals, which for me is difficult. I'm kind of more of a meta person. I like to look at the big picture, so putting together the little details of things sometimes can be really difficult for me when it comes to planning and mapping out where I want to be. That can be difficult. I just want Google Maps to tell me when to turn right and when to turn left. But I realized that in putting together these specific small step goals in order to complete not only the course but my individualized degree plan and the program and my bachelor degree, that was incredibly helpful for me to see the trajectory of where I am and where I want to be within working in the field of developmental disabilities. So when I think about the process of doing this, the self-reflection aspect of it has been incredibly important because it's been a reminder that I can do it, that in order to be an advocate for others, you have to be an advocate for self. And so it's been a reminder to kind of practice what I preach, and it's been refreshing to know that there's been steps and segues and checks along the way to help me ensure that I'm on the right path, and refining my intention. And where I see myself in the future working, where I can be the best advocate for other people, going through the process of doing this core school was necessary. The perennial question is, what are you going to do with your degree? What do you want to be when you grow up? I know that I don't know exactly what my title is going to be. My goal isn't as narrow as, say, I'm going to be human resources manager for Micron, but my goal is specific in the sense that I know that I'm going to be an advocate and teach in the realm of developmental disability. So when people say, well, how does that apply with what's an MDS degree? What does that do? Then, as a result of going through the process that I just mentioned, I'm able to say exactly what the degree does for me, but also to feel empowered in the sense that I put it together, that I kind of put together my degree plan with what I learned from my past, so that it wasn't just lost to the annals of never to be used again information, but putting that to work for me with my present, in my present career field where I work, into the future of where I want to be, is my stated goal previously. And Eleanor Roosevelt said beautifully, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And that encompasses my future goal, in the sense that I may not know exactly what it's supposed to be called, this title, this specific thing that I do with my degree, but I know that all of the steps and the processes that I've taken to work on achieving my plan is definitely within the realm of what my passion is, and what I want to be doing. How I already stated how this has helped me along the way, but it's necessary to mention that being an advocate and being a light is that overarching goal that I like talking about, the big picture. That the advocacy portion is it's not extended only to other people. It first extends to me too, and it's been reformation in this course for me to remember and think about the ways that I need to advocate for myself, the ways that I've had to advocate for my education, to say, to appeal some of the things that I've needed to appeal in order to get this far along the process in the MDS program, to know that it's okay for me to go back and ask questions and say, well, why do I need to do this exactly? And is there a way that I can, is there a way that you can work with me in order to accomplish my goal, considering everything that I've done so far? So that piece of being a self-advocate for my education has been necessary, and then it also gives me fuel so that I can better be an advocate for other people as well. And I love the quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. where he says, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And that's relevant in the sense that working in the field of developmental disabilities, there's a lot of difficult stories, a lot of barriers, a lot of obstacles that have to be overcome, and in order to have their voices heard and represented. And so I think sometimes in those situations it's easy to get mired into the idea that, well, it's just very difficult, and well, yes, it is, but it's also, if anything is worth having, it's not always necessarily the easy things. And that within the darkness that all of us can identify with at some level, that remembering the light entering into the equation is what solves the problem that we're seeking to solve, and that's what reverses what we want reversed. So and that has been a great reminder for me in this process of remembering that that when it's dark and when it's difficult to see where the light enters, that it always does, and that it is fueled by love. And so that's worth mentioning in terms of how the MDS degree not only can help me get to where I want to be, but also all of the things that I've done so far, how that informs my perspective, and ultimately my passion. The course goals are, problem solving, in the MDS 300 course, teamwork, effective writing, and effective speaking. And problem solving is one of those course goals that's kind of inherent in all of the other ones, in the sense that problem solving is it's an everyday occurrence. It's something that we all have experience with. It's definitely something that everybody can identify with, and one of the things that has helped me in this class is thinking about how to solve problems from different perspectives, how to be informed from what are seemingly different fields, for example, that I mentioned earlier, but also just different ideas altogether. And so the group work, kind of segueing into that for a second, has been one of those wonderful opportunities to practice problem solving, because meeting 3 other people that you've never met before, only through technology, can be a difficult situation. And then when you have a short period of time to come up with a viable business solution, that makes it even more difficult. So in using problem solving skills, and especially in thinking outside the box and how to bring everybody together to come up with a solution to a problem, the flexibility of seeing a different perspective to try to come up with a solution is necessary for me, and also informs, like I said, every area of life, personally, academically, professionally. Writing has been a really big core feature of this course, and a biggest difference between taking a traditional course and an online course is the process of writing down questions, not blurting out a statement, really thinking about what I'm saying, really being purposeful, and trying to be as succinct as I can be. And so this class has really helped me out a lot with that. You might not think so by 12-minute video so far, but it has been an excellent opportunity for me to practice my writing skills and really be clear and edit my own work, and remembering what my path is and going back to that when I seem to get lost sometimes in a tangent with writing. So in terms of group work, teamwork, the biggest reformation there in the course goal has been remembering that I like being a supporter, a facilitator, making things happen, and finding commonalities and clear expectations between everybody in the group. And that was a wonderful way for me to practice in doing this group work that we did, honing my skills as facilitator, and it encouraged me to think about how I could be better next time around. And the last goal is using voice speaking. So watching myself speak, listening to myself speak has been really important, and remembering to really listen to what I'm saying. And so the strengths and the challenges that are inherent in that for me are that I like speaking, I like trying to communicate my story to other people to find commonality, and I also enjoy listening to others, although it's been not so easy for me to listen to myself. So this has been a really good practice for me to remember to listen to myself, to let my intuition guide me, and to remember that I find my confidence and my empowerment in being able to communicate and relate with other people through effective speaking and writing. I haven't always been a big fan of maps. They've been difficult for me. Like I said earlier, just tell me when to turn right, when to turn left. But this class has been a great reformation for me to remember that in plotting my course goals and having specific measurable goals, that really does help me overall, even though it's difficult and I don't necessarily always want to do that. I sometimes dig my heels in, but that's been a really poignant aspect of the course for me. And I'll end with this quote that kind of sums everything up brilliantly with, I speak to maps and sometimes they speak back to me. This isn't as strange as it sounds, nor is it an unheard of thing. Before maps, the world was limitless. It was maps that gave us shape and made it seem like territory, something that could be possessed, not just laid waste and plundered. Maps made places on the edge of the imagination seem graspable and placeable. So here's to finding place, whatever your next step is. Thank you.